What is going on, everyone? Matthew97657 here, and today we are back with yet another figure unboxing and review. And as you can see on the screen, and the title and thumbnail suggests, it's going to be a duo review of the SH Figurarts Ultraman Blazar and Earth Garon from the series Ultraman Blazar. So with that being said, nothing more to it, to get on right on into it. And alas, I took it straight from the thumbnail because oh my goodness, thumbnails take me a while to photograph, but here they are, the SH Figurarts. Let's go ahead and start with our Ultraman Blazar, the star ultra of this show. While I fix up the posturing, as you can see, just as a basic articulation test, just on how some of that might work. So pretty much here we have here. And yeah, so here is Blazar. Very, very nice mold. Love the design. I absolutely love the Blazar design, which is just so cool. I love the kind of like one-sided streak, which is on the left portion of the body, but as you can see, it also extends a little bit to the right on the back side. So very cool. Absolutely love it. I love this half flame coming up above the left side of the eyes. So absolutely love it. But yep, the paint job, it's kind of a silver-ish, as you can see in the light reflection. Silverish with the red, the blue, the different blue for the color timer, and then obviously the more teal blue for the flame streak. So very nice paint job. And then moving on towards articulation here. Let's go ahead and start now with the head. So we have a neck joint, as you can see, that second piece right in there that kind of does move around to some degree. And then you also have the kind of head plating, which can look up pretty far, can look down. This is with moving of the neck, and then it can move side to side. It just looks a little unnatural, but it can move side to side, which is nice. So moving on towards our arms here, let's go ahead and do a full rotation. Can't come up all the way, but if you kind of bring in this little shoulder pad piece, you can kind of bring it up a little bit, but if not, it's just not going to go that high like that. You're going to have to find other ways around it. But moving on towards our elbow joint piece here. Sorry, let me get this a little better. It does have a pretty good extending elbow, as you can see. Just a straight joint, and then obviously we have our hand as well. And so that is it for our arm piece. And you can kind of pull it out, push in, and then from there you can kind of get greater range of motion. So it's kind of up to you on what you want to decide to do with all that. More towards the chest area, you can kind of see this little chest plate piece right in there. So that's awesome. You can kind of get a little bit of an ab crunch, and you can kind of go back. And so you can kind of just do whatever you like with it. And then you kind of have the abdomen piece right in there, as you can see. Moving on towards the crotch area, that seems to be its own piece, but it doesn't really seem like it can move that well. So moving on towards our lower body, we have our legs, which can come out. Just push this up for a little bit. Can come out. Can't really go back too much just on this back thigh piece, because then you're going up against the butt piece. So can kind of kick up front, but it can go to the side a lot, and then to the back there, not too much. But continuing with it, towards the knee joint, you obviously do have a little bit more greater range of motion, so you can get a really kind of acrobatic type of positioning with the legs. And as you can see, these are pretty smooth. So I mean, it's really good to have smooth articulation. Might just be my figure. Obviously, if you can't tell, these are I bought these second-handedly. So no box, but we do have every accessory, which I will get to shortly. But just want to start off with this here. And so moving on towards our foot, you can kind of see it rotates. Can't really rotate it all the way around. I feel like I'm forcing it. And then there's a little toe joint as well. So yeah, that really is probably about it for Blazar here as a whole. And let us continue with the Blazar portion with our accessories. And then from there, we will just kick off right into the Earth Garon we have right next to him. So here are the Blazar accessories coming up right now. Okay, so we do have two different accessories on now compared to the start of the video, with the kind of flat hand and obviously the holding Tilsonite sword hand and obviously the Tilsonite sword. So very cool. And I mean, it's pretty easy to do. I mean, for most of these accessories, it's nothing too insane, right? It's just a simple kind of hand that you would assume to hold items like that there. But yeah, it's very cool, very easy, right? Just to get another one in. Just all you got to do is pop it in to the best of your ability, like that there. And then boom, you have another set there, right? Perfect. So very, very nice. And then once again, you do have a fair amount of accessories. So just to kind of quickly run through it all, to take off the color timer here, all you got to do is dig your nail right in there and then put on the new piece just like that. Very, very simple, very easy. And yeah, let's see what else we can get with our accessories here. All right, and there is another set there, as you can see, just the double fist and then the color timer on. And I kind of positioned him in the position whenever he roars, but obviously there is no kind of like roar mouthpiece effect as of right now. So I just thought it would look cool to do it like that. So a very fun set of accessories you have to kind of like dynamically go with whatever you really want. So let's go ahead and do one more, and then we'll go ahead and give our final thoughts / comparisons. All right, and lastly, I decided to go with the pose from the episode where he faces Niji Kagachi, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Essentially, whenever he goes to grab the rainbow, just an awesome, awesome shot in the show. Just wanted to replicate that. Obviously, you need the help of the stand because the figure can't float by itself, but very, very cool. Saw some cool poses with the accessories that can be done. So let's go ahead and get to our comparisons and do a final wrap-up. All right, so coming off straight off the Blazar accessories, we do have the Earth Garon, and dang, can you see, right? So I did add the light that I usually use, but I ended up breaking it, so now it's stuck on the second highest, brightest filter. So I have to angle it. So you're gonna see a lot of light here, not a lot of light here, because if I angle it to the front of me, it's gonna be really bright. But I figured, hey, this probably looks a little bit better compared to it being all completely dark. So starting with the Earth Garon here, in terms of the paint application, fairly decent. Looks like there's only really kind of like 3 primary colors that are kind of seen throughout this figure. Obviously the kind of like navy blue, deep blue, I guess if you would call it that. And then you kind of have the gray spots kind of, you know, in terms of like what the actual suit would probably represent. And then you have kind of like, I guess, a neon orange, which does contrast very nicely with the deeper blue. And then obviously you have a little bit of a white on kind of those antenna prongs and the lower jaw piece as well. So very cool, absolutely love it. So starting off with this, starting off with the head in terms of articulation, we do have the mouth opening up pretty wide, not gonna lie, it's a pretty wide stance. And then from the neck piece, it's kind of like all this one singular piece. I really don't like how I'm getting like half dark, so I'm just gonna move it just a little bit closer. So hopefully that's a little bit brighter, not too bright. Hopefully you can just see everything with this light. But as you can see, it's just this big kind of neck piece that is doing all the work, and then obviously you have the head piece as well. And so moving on towards our body portion, we do have kind of like this little shoulder pad piece, which kind of swivel around here and there. It's just kind of just chilling out, you know. But in terms of articulation, we can kind of go up around there. And there's that little shoulder pad piece. Back around, full set. Although I heard a click I actually did not like. In terms of the arm articulation, not too much in terms of the elbow piece here, but it is possible, you know, going down that much, coming up this much. Obviously, we do have hand articulation rolling around in there. So from there, you can kind of see this kind of like suit body. Dang, this is so bright. You can kind of see that suit body portion here. But you know, this upper chest part is kind of all one piece. And then this is kind of like one giant swivel spot that's just holding it together. So if you want to count that as that, you can. But let's go ahead and move this down. All right, so yep, you got a lot of flexibility with it, which I'm not sure Earth Garon was that flexible in the show. But hey, moving towards the lower body piece, we have our legs, which can kind of come up. You're getting a little bit of resistance trying to go around. You can kind of see this piece is kind of resisting everything. So I don't want to push it too far, but in terms of coming back around, you know, it's there. And that is exactly what we didn't want, but hey, not a bad fix. So while we're on this kind of piece here, there you have a knee joint, nothing too insane, not a lot of motion. You do have this set of kind of like a piston, if you will, or a little holder, kind of like the Monster Arts Mecha Godzilla, but you know, it can come in and then it can come out. So kind of the same type of deal in that aspect. Obviously, this one just kind of is always going to stay on compared to the other one where I think you could actually take them off. So outside of that, let's go ahead and take it off, because with taking it off, you're going to be able to get a little bit more flexibility within this foot piece, and that's really about it. Can't really move it horizontally, but you can move it up and down, which is nice. And so hopefully, this is the first time it's happened to me, so hopefully it's just an easy pop back in. Yep, easy. So yeah, and lastly, for our articulation on the Earth Garon, we do have the tail piece, which it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. Maybe not. Maybe I'm seeing one, 2. I want to say this piece looks like it's together. So 3, 4. You can't even see it. I'm sorry about that. So there's 1. You can see 2 right in there. And then 3. And lastly, the entire piece, which is 4. So yeah, not a long tail. It's kind of untraditional to see a monster with a short tail. But hey, shorter tails means that there's not as much shelf space being taken up. So gotta hand it to it. And yeah, so that's pretty much the articulation test for the articulation and paint test for the Earth Garon, which is awesome. Absolutely love it. So with that, let's go ahead and go towards our accessories, which does include a range of fists and a set of eyes. So hopefully that's not too hard to put on. But yeah, so with that, we'll come back from that, and then we'll have a conclusion on both of the figures. All right, guys, so as you can see, a couple different accessories here. We have the Berserk eyes on with the closed fist, and also the cockpit did change as well. So to quickly sum it up, really, not too much of a difficulty to change it besides one part. So to start off simply, the cockpit piece, all you really got to do is remove it. This is the accessory. The other one is simple. You just kind of dig your nail in there and get it out. But just like that, really. So just to keep that in. And then obviously the fists are just kind of self-explanatory. The hardest part is by far the eye pieces. So as I showed you guys in the start of the video, you do get a fair amount of eye pieces, but they are extremely small, as you can see there. And the way they want you to essentially do it is to take off the top headpiece, which then would have the eyepiece like that connected to both. But after several amounts of trial and error, I actually thought it was easier just to grab a pair of tweezers, get it, put it into the top of the head first, and then put this piece on last. I tried for about, I'd say 15 to 20 minutes doing it the way like this, like the way they want you to do it like this, but it's just too hard for me. And I mean, I don't know, it was a little bit too hard for me. So that's my recommendation. Whatever works with you works best. Just, I guess, stick with it. But you just want to hold it together, and then obviously you can get the set of eyes locked in very nicely. So let me go ahead and get one more set of eyes in a different pose, and then I will go on and conclude the review. Okay, I figured I would show how to put one eye in at least. So we have our eye here. It's kind of small, obviously. What I do is I grab the tweezers for my method of putting it on top there. I grab the short edge of it, right? So I grab it with the tweezers just like that. And then from there, I really just put it on top and try to find the little socket for it. But even then, as you can see, I did have a failure there. So let's go ahead and try that one more time, just like that. So now we do have both pieces in there. And from there, all we got to do is just hope that none of it falls apart here. So here we go, just kind of like quickly, just get it in there, secure it, just like that. We do have the angry set of eyes in. So we did the Berserk, we had the standard, and then now this is just kind of like the angry, but yeah, controlled eye motion. So yeah, a little stressful, but with some patience and hopefully the method that I showed you, it's maybe a little bit more easier for you, because this was definitely a little bit of a challenge. So with that, let's go ahead and get to the comparisons and conclude the review. All right, so we do have a couple of different accessories here, right? We do have the kind of like grabbing hand, and then we do have the mouth blast metal piece in as well. Different set of eyes. This is the angry eyes instead of the berserk eyes, and then just kind of like the flat palm hand there. And then lastly, we do have the tail missile flaps up, which was actually kind of a pain to get through, if I'm being honest, but eventually enough dedication did pull off to where you can actually get all of them up there. So very nice detail, and I'm not sure if I even want to put those back down, but wanted to show that off just for the sake of accessories. And yeah, so with that, let's go ahead and conclude and get to the comparisons and final thoughts. Here we go. All right, so after concluding the accessory portion of the Earth Garon, dang, those eyes were really hard to put on. So hopefully my guide was a little bit straightforward in understanding how I did it. Hopefully it's a little bit easier for you guys. But pretty much, yeah, that's pretty much the duo review. Hopefully, you know, it was a little bit of some help with the accessories, you know, the hand pieces and, you know, the... I want to say I covered the plasma hand piece for the Earth Fire, I believe if that is correct, what I'm getting correct there. But yeah, a handful of accessories that we had here, which I have in my bag. Yeah, so a bunch of hand accessories, a color timer, and then a bunch of the eye pieces. So yeah, and you know, I guess just kind of go over everything one last time. You know, in terms of maybe what I like and do like, I love both of them. I love the mold on both of them. I think that, you know, the Blazar one is just, you know, gets the job done. Just the base mold, obviously with the Tilsonite sword here, which is nice. I guess maybe if I had to ask for something, I would like the Tilsonite sword maybe one day to have kind of like the electrified effect instead of it just being kind of like the blue. But hey, that's just me shooting at it. I mean, hey, that was just me kind of reaching for anything there. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the Blazar mold in terms of, you know, everything that it came with all of accessories, color timer, and the Tilsonite sword. And then moving on to the Earth Garon is probably where I would have a little bit more of kind of like constructive criticism in the fact of the eyes. I think, like I said, it's kind of pretty hard to do in terms of, you know, taking it off, and then, you know, they're really, really small, like probably around like that big, and they have, you know, the opportunity to just like boom, fly off. So I'm like, oh yeah, there it goes, right? So maybe in that aspect, it probably could have been better. I'm not too sure as to why they probably didn't want to spend a lot of money on making separate head sculpts for each one. So probably the eye change was probably the most affordable route that they went with, which I'm not going to criticize to a full extent. I just think that the process of putting on the eyes, it hopefully could have been a little bit better. But outside of that, I kind of like the mold on this one. I think there are some people that do not like it. That aspect, there's a little bit of range articulation that was kind of limited. I think because of the body pieces, you know, these gray kind of pieces that what I would represent kind of like the actual suits of Earth Garon. But like I said, you know, I don't remember seeing Earth Garon like flying, you know, like, you know, doing like a bunch of flips and everything, like in terms of like flexibility. Like, yes, Earth Garon flew and threw punches and stuff, but never like, you know, like drop kicks of any kind. But I think as a standalone piece with the Blazar figure, I think they look really well together, and you know, it encapsulates their journey through the series. So that's awesome. Outside of that, what is next? Outside of that, I want to say what is next. Sorry, I'm trying to put this thing back in the little piston piece. But what is next pretty much for Blazar in terms of the Figurarts line is actually this, which I was going to open, but I think I'm going to save it for its own video. This is the Earth Garon, you know, mod effect, mod 234. Pretty much like an accessory pack for the Earth Garon, where it has kind of like the jetpack, the double jetpack, the railgun. So that's awesome. And also I think Blazar gets a couple of accessory pieces as well. So I'm going to assume this is going to be its own standalone video. And then outside of that, the only other SH Figurarts at the moment is going to be the Blazar. Ooh, is going to be the Blazar with the Figurant armor. Yes, with the Figurant armor. And that, if I'm correct, is just is what you'd expect. It's the Figurart armor suit. It does come with the Tilsonite sword. It does come, well, the Tilsonite sword is the double edge with the Figurart at the bottom, which is awesome. So cool. It's kind of like the double edge sword, top to bottom double edge, if I guess you had to describe it. But yeah, so that came with some accessories, and then obviously the accessory pack came with some accessories as well. So this will probably get its own standalone video, and then obviously the Figurart will get its own. The Figurart armor will get its own video too, because I don't have it, at least as of right now. So yeah, that's pretty much going to end the duo review. As always, let me know what you guys thought of the Ultraman Blazar SH Figurarts, as well as the Earth Garon SH Figurarts. Let me know what you guys thought of both of these. If you've watched the show, I know I'm like a year and a half late. Like, Ultraman Arc has already been airing. That show is almost done. Don't worry, I've been watching that as too. I do plan to get the SH Figurarts with both the Luna and the Soul armor, and as well as the Galaxy armor as well. I am hoping I can get them. Just trying to see if I have the shelf space and affordability for it. But hopefully that'll be nice, especially considering they had a crossover episode, which was awesome. So yeah, with that being said, you know, look forward to it. There's going to be the Figurart soon enough, and then the accessory pack for Earth Garon will be its own standalone video. So with that being said, let me know what you guys thought of both the SH Figurarts, Ultraman Blazar, and Earth Garon. See you soon. Bye.